What's up, everybody? Back with another video. Today we are on the southeastern corner of Utah in San Juan County. I've never birded here before on the channel, and I've only birded here once before ever. So there's some amazing stuff around us. Right now we are at Newspaper Rock, which has some incredible petroglyphs that we're gonna go take a look at. And just the scenery around us is amazing. It's the middle of the day, so there might not be a lot of birds right now, but we're here for a couple days. So let's see what birds we can find. All right, so this petroglyph behind me has like 600 plus different, artworks and representations up here. Some of these are thousands of years old. Scientists aren't exactly sure if this is telling a story or if it's just a little doodle rock for ancient peoples. But there's also different time periods represented on here as well. Navajo people also contribute some of this artwork. And then you also had some Europeans come through and add some stuff up there as well. My personal favorite petroglyph up there is of this bird. Really cool to see birds depicted in something as old as this. Hundreds of years old, even thousands of years old in some cases. So pretty incredible. Did not see, obviously, a whole bunch of birds out here in the desert. There was a turkey vulture that flew over, which was awesome to see. And then we had some species of lizard on the tree over here. Both of those cool desert creatures, but we have a few more stops to take before we're done with this first portion of the video. Then we're gonna hit some much more bird heavy areas moving forward. So stay with me, let's see what birds we can find. It is another day of the San Juan County trip, and now I'm kind of in the foothills. I've gone up in elevation. It's still really dry out here. Still a lot of, I think it's scrub oak type habitat. I just heard a Grace's warbler this morning. That would be a camera lifer for me if I could get that on camera. We're gonna head up a little bit further in elevation into the Manti-La Sal National Forest. So let's see what birds we can find today. Should be really exciting. I've only birded down here, again, one time before, so let's see what birds we can find. All right, so we made a quick stop over here at Monticello Lake. On the way up, we ended up seeing some wild turkeys. It's pretty cool to see. It's really windy today. Monticello and this area of Utah, the southern part of Utah, is known for its wind. In fact, there's some giant windmills just below me to generate energy because there's so much wind out here. But we're out here at Monticello Lake, and I just picked up a killdeer over here on the edge of the water, as well as a mama duck and some of her ducklings out here swimming around. So there's also white-throated swifts everywhere at this lake right now. Probably 30 of them flying around. Pretty cool to see those birds. We're gonna head up to a higher lake called Foy Lake. You might be wondering what I'm doing out here. Every couple years, my family has a family reunion. There's around 100 people that come, 90 to 100 people that come. We always come down here to the Monticello, Utah area. And so I've been here all my life, but I've never really found the birds out here, except for last time I was here, which was 2 years ago when the channel was just beginning. I didn't do a video out here though, but it's gonna be cool to bird the birds in this area, see what we can find, and build up our San Juan County, Utah life list.
The wind ripped around me as I looked over Canyonlands National Park. Stay tuned, as in a few weeks we will be visiting Zion National Park to do some birding. I then arrived at Foy Lake, a small mountain lake with the wind still raging. The first bird I spotted was this beautiful redhead duck. It feels a bit odd seeing these birds in the middle of summer, and I definitely associate them with colder weather, but I love ducks, and the redhead is absolutely stunning. A few American coot were bobbing up and down on the water. These black and white billed swimmers are absolutely fascinating. Coots aren't ducks. They have lobed feet instead of webbed feet, which allow them to walk easier on mud and swim in the water. There wasn't just one redhead, but a handful of them, hanging out and preening themselves in the water. Also out in the water was this female ruddy duck. I had seen a handful of ruddy ducks earlier in my trip here, but at this point, the wind was making this experience quite unenjoyable. I decided to pack up the camera and try my luck at another unexplored area on my Utah map.
Today we are at Redmond Campground near Salt Lake City, Utah. I woke up at 5:30 to get here by 7:30, but there was an hour delay in the canyon because of a marathon. So kudos to those running, couldn't be me. It was one of the most beautiful drives I've ever been on, like in the state of Utah, I'm not gonna lie. There's so many beautiful drives here in the state, and this one definitely ranks in the top 10. We're out here today looking for a couple nemesis birds. White-winged crossbill is a bird that is a nemesis bird for Utah and on my life list, as well as three-toed woodpecker. So if we can find these two birds, that would be absolutely incredible. Let's see what other birds we can find.
With hopeful anticipation, we made our way around the campground in search of the handful of targets on our list. A young common raven was the first bird we spotted sitting low in a tree and looking slightly vulnerable in its youth. A hummingbird species perched itself on the edge of this pine. I'm not great with female hummingbirds, so if you have any idea what this is, let me know in the comments below. Deep in the underbrush, a Lincoln sparrow tried to hide from our cameras. Despite its best effort, we were still able to catch it in our viewfinders. One of the loudest birds in the area, the chipping sparrow, called from the trees. A yellow-rumped warbler, more affectionately known as butterbutt, pranced around the spindly branches in front of us.
All right, so we've seen some incredible birds today already. Western tanager up singing in the top of a tree. Always a joy to see those birds. They look like a sunset, so I never say no to a western tanager. And then also picked up probably my best footage ever of a western flycatcher. It literally would not move. It was fearless. Maybe it was protecting a nest or something and we got too close, but it just sat there and let us take photos and film it. So western flycatcher on the list as well. It's really cool to see these impids coming out of the woodworks, and trying to identify those are difficult, as you may know. We're going to continue walking around this campground. We still haven't found our target species for today. There's one more location after this if we don't find them here, so I remain hopeful, but hopefully the white-winged crossbills and the three-toed woodpecker shows itself soon.
We admired the western flycatcher for a few more moments. It's really rare that a bird hangs out just yards away from you, so we wanted to enjoy the moment and the details on this beautiful creature. Another chipping sparrow surveyed the scene from a tall stump. You can tell these are chipping sparrows because of the rufous top on the head and the black stripe through the eye. Dark-eyed juncos hopped on the ground searching for food. Juncos are ground foragers, so you'll see this behavior quite often. A woodpecker in a nearby tree got us extremely excited, but we were slightly disappointed to see that this was the very common hairy woodpecker and not our target bird. Slicing through the air above us was this gorgeous red-tailed hawk. It gave off great views of its identification features, including the belly bands, elbow patches, and staple red tail. A much smaller bird perched in a dead tree just below. This was a ruby-crowned kinglet. Nearby, a black-headed grosbeak ascended a large pine.
Just got a camera lifer on the list, Swainson's thrush. Pretty awesome to finally get that bird on camera, as I always say. But it was really, really cool. It just perched up right in front of us and we were able to get good views of the Swainson's thrush, usually a very skulky bird, especially in an area that's dominated by hermit thrushes. So happy to get that one on the list. And unfortunately, we're gonna have to wrap things up here at Redmond Campground, but we're gonna head over to Silver Lake, another location. We didn't find the goshawk, we didn't find the three-toed woodpecker, we didn't find the white-winged crossbills. 0 for 3 on those targets, but we still have a chance at Silver Lake. Let's see if we can find them. All right, next location, we're at Silver Lake, and we're trying to find, again, the same species. There's just so many people here. It's Flag Day today, and they offered free, basically, admission
to the park. So everyone and their dog is here. I actually haven't seen any dogs. Maybe you can't bring them. No dogs allowed. All right, so everyone and not their dog is here. We've seen already our target species for the spot, osprey, my favorite bird of prey. Absolutely incredible, perched on top of a tree. One of the most iconic birds in North America. But again, we're trying to find these target species. Let's see what else we can find. We watched as a swallow dive bomb the osprey. I always find this a bit funny as ospreys typically only exclusively eat fish, but perhaps the birds can't tell them apart from bald eagles and other birds of prey. The views at Silver Lake were absolutely stunning as we walked around the perimeter. The lake features a boardwalk in some parts, and that just makes the experience even better. I love boardwalks. On the other side of a small beaver dam, we watched some mallards preening themselves in the water. This mallard was much closer, standing up on a log to get some of the harder to reach spots. One of the highlights of our trip to Silver Lake was a spotted sandpiper, which landed on this fallen tree. Another high elevation sparrow species, the fox sparrow, sang in a pine nearby. In Utah, we have the slate-colored subspecies, which is much more drab than the bright red fox sparrows. Now I don't know about you, but the meal that this American robin is eating looks absolutely delicious. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't eat insects myself, but this one looks nice and juicy. A new bird for the day, a western wood-pewee, screeched from its branch above us. It flew across the trail and we were able to get even better views of this slender, fly-catching bird. As we looked around, it was clear that birds weren't the only ones occupying the landscape. Chirping in this tree was a beautiful looking squirrel. In the water was something more exciting, a western toad. These toads are incredibly rare in Utah and are declining rapidly. It was amazing to catch a glimpse of this one swimming in the water. If you ever come across one, please leave it be and don't pick it up. A stunning 8-striped skimmer stood like a statue on a branch above the water. These are some of the greatest predators in the insect kingdom. Although we didn't find our desired targets, it was amazing to explore these places that I have never been to before. Let me know in the comments below. What's your favorite non-avian species? Mine is the red panda. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I hope to see you all next time on Bright-Eyed Birding.